Hello everyone, welcome to GreatLakes-TCG. My name is Jeff, or Godden. Just came back from a 7-0 Purple Luffy run. My team did get second in the end, but we split prizing going into the final round, so we got a really good haul. I'll be happy to open these up later. That said, I just figured I'd talk to you about my deck list, kind of the changes I've made and how it felt today in the 3v3. I faced a very large variety of decks going first and going second. I will say this deck was on fire today. It felt pretty strong. I think I had maybe one match where I really struggled, where I felt like kind of like it could have gone either way or felt very uncomfortable. Otherwise, it really just it performed so well today. I kind of hit what I needed when I needed it. I think there's only one game where I didn't see perfect curve on curve, so this deck just felt phenomenal. I'll go over all my matchups in a second. I will say congratulations to the people who got first. It was a purple black Luffy, a Bellow Betty, and a Smoker team. This is the 3v3 kind of standings, or the decks that were brought. There were 63 people in total, 21 teams. The most represented deck was Shanks at 13, Purple Luffy was at 10, Dofi at 8 or 9. I think there might have been a dash missing. As you can see, Lucci with 4 of them. My team, and there's a good amount of Teach too. My team was a Purple Luffy, a Lucci, and a Shanks. The Shanks was sitting middle. I was on one of the wings. The Shanks player on my team, I think, went 5-2. I went 7-0 essentially, and the Lucci player on our team, unfortunately, went 3-4 for the day. He was not having a good day with Lucci. I feel like every time I looked over at his card pile, there was a Moria milled in like the first turn or two. It was really funny. A little sad, but funny. Either way, he did pull in clutch. One of his wins was actually against the Teach, and that was a very clutch win for our team. That said, let's get into the deck list. So essentially, not many changes from my last list. The biggest thing you'd see is the Gamma Knife and the Blocker Law. Essentially, I took out the Robins to try out Blocker Law, and I went down on one kit to try out Gamma Knife because it's kind of been like the new hotness to trust out. I think the Gamma Knife is actually kind of cool. It's good into like it has niches. It's good into Bonnie sometimes. It's actually helped me win a day, a couple games against Bonnie on the sim. It's actually really good against Shanks, especially because you don't really have a way to contest their 10 drop sometimes. But if you play that, their 10 drop becomes a 7k, and now you're, even if you have a 9 drop on field that's a 9k after the minus, right? You're able to kind of swing into it and still ask for a lot of cards out of hand. And at the end of the day, like, it's just a one-off. You will find uses for it, and that's why I really like it, especially against Blackbeard sometimes, Shanks, Bonnie. There's enough decks that you can find uses out of this. And sometimes because you're playing out the laws, like even using this on a 7k and then having your law swing into it is, or even your Usops, like sometimes you play them out, it's just so strong. It's so strong. I will say Bon Clay was phenomenal today. I think I want to go up to 3 copies if I could find it. He has kind of solidified himself as being like kind of how in Red Purple Law, where we would against Morias or even like other decks too. But you really want to like get out of Bon Clay the turn before they can Moria, and he kind of was always the target for Morias, or if they didn't have enough, way to kind of reduce cost and play out an Absalom, they weren't able to clear it, and so they would deter them from playing Moria. It's kind of a similar niche here, where I'm playing Bon Clay before 10 cost Teach turns. I'm playing Bon Clay before Shanks turns, and it surprisingly puts a ton of pressure on those guys because now they're doing suboptimal play. So instead of playing 10 cost Shanks, they're playing maybe a Roger and only popping the Bon Clay. Yes, they're minusing power on other cards, but it's not like they're clearing those cards, right? So I'm still getting a ton of value out of my other cards. I'm able to save them with blockers and stuff. So the Bon Clay was phenomenal. The Blocker Law, honestly, it could have been a Robin today. I don't think I saw it too many times. I only got it to like its actual effect off once, but regardless, I'll still test with it some more. It's searchable through Trafalgar, like through the other law, so I'm not exactly mad. We'll kind of see what happens. That said, let me get into my matchups real quick. So once again, 7-0 for my side. So the first round, I'll say, so we went, the Swiss was only 4 rounds. We were able to, and then we did a top 8 top cut. And that was mostly because every single down pair lost in the 4 rounds of Swiss. So there was actually no 5th round, which is actually really nice in terms of time for people who were winning and stuff like that. We did go 3-1 in Swiss, so we were the 4th seed going into top cut. That said, round 1, go up against a Teach. Yeah, that was my Teach that I played against. It was kind of I won dice roll. I went first. It was actually kind of a fairly straightforward match. I saw a lot of 4 costs. I was able to play Bon Clay before his his 10 cost Teach turn. Was able to put out 2 bodies a turn on curve. Super strong. I kind of just did our game plan. And the only way kind of Teach can come back in this matchup is if he essentially like hits a finger pistol out of life. If they don't hit a finger pistol out of life, I don't think I've ever lost a Blackbeard game. And even if they do, I could still sometimes, I still most of the time do end up winning. So I feel really strong to Teach with this list specifically. This is one of the games where I did drop the Blocker Law, but obviously I didn't get his effect off. Next would be, this is where I played a purple Luffy. Mirror, and unfortunately I did lose dice roll. I went second, but fortunately I hit my curve while he didn't hit Luffy Taro on curve. So it was actually really unfortunate. He opened up Trafalgar Law, then he played Zero, and he didn't hit Luffy Taro. So he had a Sangoro in hand, he just didn't have Luffy Taro. His 7 on turn ended up being like a blocker kid and like swing 7 or something like that. It was a really weak turn. I was able to respond with my own Luffy Taro, and then kind of that was all she wrote. Afterwards, I just had Gum Giants and just kind of protected my board, went wide, drew a bunch. It was kind of over. Once again, that matchup is usually very first heavy, but that's only because whoever drops the first Luffy Taro, and mostly actually like the first 9 drop kind of wins. If he responded to my Luffy Taro with his own 9 drop Luffy, it may have gone a different way, but at the same time, he didn't. Next, the next round I played against, I believe this was Shanks. Yeah. So I played against the Shanks. I ended up going first. I went dice roll. I went first. I was able to see my perfect curve. It was just unfortunate for the Shanks because it felt like there was nothing they could do. They even saw like 2 Lucky Roo in a row. So a Lucky Roo on 4, a Lucky Roo on 6. He was clearing my bodies. Obviously, he killed my Zoro, killed my Sanji. But I was just able to, I went Luffy Taro, and then after Luffy Taro, I played my 9 cost, I ramped and played a 9 cost. And kind of just snowballed from there. It was really funny. And then after I played my 9 cost, I just kept playing blocker, gum. They could never claw back in. I just kind of swung right through their face. In terms of the next round, then I played against the Doflamingo. Here I lost dice roll. I went second. But thankfully, their hand bricked a little bit where they didn't see any searchers. So no buggies, no Sengokus, and no Peronas. So they were never actually able to shape their hand or the top of their deck. Their first turn, or I guess second turn, the 3-down turn was like a blind leader swing, and then he hit a buggy. I'm like, oh, that's really good for me. They were finally able to shape the top of their life, and they were starting to hit really good cards at that point, but they just lost so much momentum with not being able to hit a body on that turn, and also the fact that it was like a blind swing. I was able to just hit my perfect curve against the Dofi, start gaining a ton of value. They even putting me at 8 cards, but because my board was so well established and their board was not, because they kind of missed that first turn, and they were playing catch up the next turn with playing that pudding, it just it was not fun. It was not fun for them. I kind of just snowballed from there. I was able to use my board to redraw like cards in my hand, and that's kind of all she went. With Blue Dofi, the longer the game goes on, the more favored Purple Luffy is, and I say this all the time because Purple Luffy keeps gaining, it will gain more cards, will gain more momentum, and while Blue Dofi loses more cards and loses more pieces to work with, and so if they don't come at you out the gate swinging and being super explosive, you really can catch up and win, even going second. The next, so that was top 4. So that was 4. Going into top 8, the first deck I played against was, Smoker, actually. And I was, since we were 4th seed, we played against the 5th seed, so we were able to choose our, going first or second in Top Cut. So I chose going first into Smoker. And I kind of just played my curve, and he wasn't able to remove enough bodies in time, and that's all. I feel really bad to simplify like that, but sometimes it really just is, hey, I went first, I hit curve, they can't keep up because they're, it's Smoker, they can only remove 1 body a turn into like their 10th Dawn turn. So yeah, it just went super quick, super fast, super wide, kind of punched their face in, and it really wasn't too close of a match. The next, so I will say, Purple Luffy in a Top Cut format is disgustingly strong. I think a high seed Purple Luffy at Nats is going to do very, very well because of how dice roll dependent it is. I actually didn't realize the power of like a Top Cut Purple Luffy. So now that I've experienced it, it just brings so much more value to this deck. If you're able to get through day 1 through like with a good bracket, some good luck, and make it into day 2 with like a top 10 seed in a top 32 format, you are going to probably get to top 16, maybe top 8, like almost guaranteed, which is fucking insane. Not guaranteed, but like you have a high probability to do much better day 2 than you did day 1, which is kind of insane. So that's actually another reason why I think Purple Luffy is just probably the number 2 deck in the meta. I know a lot of people would fight me on that, but you just need to understand it's a meta call leader. It has a very good spread. If you are having good luck that day, you will destroy every other deck. It's just the way the deck works. That said, moving forward, Top Cut. So after the Smoker game, I played against another Shanks. I went first. Don't have to explain it once again. He honestly played a very good game. He did his absolute best. I don't think he made any misplays. It's just perfect curve. Purple Luffy just fucking runs over Shanks going first. It just does. And that's just kind of the reason why I think this deck is so strong. Going first, you kind of just run over some leaders. They just have no way around it. That said, so I was able to win. Obviously you win dice roll there. The finals was against the 2nd seed in Swiss. It was me versus another Smoker. Technically, if I have to come clean here, I will say Tyler, I did technically go quote unquote 6-1 for the day. I technically lost this match, but it was because we already decided they're our boys, right? So we already decided to split Top Cut. We split the prizing. That's why I got all these boxes here. It really came. I was winning. Like, don't get me wrong. I was winning. I put him in a position where my board was very wide, very large, and he had to kind of go for game. He swung with leader, or no, sorry, he swung with TCG, 7K at my face. I said, oh, if I counter here, he only has 3 swings on board. I have 2 life. If I counter here, it's just literally impossible for me to lose. Even if he puts the rest into his into killing my characters. I had 5 characters on board. There's just no way, right? There's no way I would lose. I think I had 4 Luffy Taros on board. Like it was a disgusting match, honestly. Like I think I had 3 or 4 Luffy Taros on board by then. He really couldn't keep up. I put him in a position where he had to go for game. But there was a brand new that he played turn 1, going second. He went second. He put brand new turn 1 and left it on the side of his mat for the rest of the game. It did not move. It did not get alluded to. Nothing actually ever happened with it. And I completely, because we were all talking, we were all having fun, I completely forgot about this brand new just sitting there. And then he puts Dawn on it and swings into my face after I've blocked out of this other one, thinking I was so smug and there's no way I could lose. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I don't have any more counter in hand for the 7K. Take, swings with this leader, take, swings with this Gecko. I'm like, shit. So I didn't end up winning. But that said, if I just took instead of countering that first swing, if I just took it, I got another 2K out of life. then if I the next life after that was a 1k, so I had like plenty of counter to get out of. Even if he had like 2 extra Dawn to work with, I had enough counter for that. It was just the number of swings at the right time, and I just miscounted. I actually not miscounted, I just didn't even realize there was another swing on board. That said, either way, he even agrees, like, yeah, I probably, like, I would have won if I just realized. Either way, we still gave him the win. It was my mistake, but essentially a 7-0 purple Luffy game or day. Thank you for watching. Good luck, and see you guys at Nats.